Hello, it's me, Cassandra, and we're back with costume number 2. Live and learn. There were things in the first video with costume number 1 that I was like, you should have said some stuff more clearly and said less stuff about other stuff. So, this costume would have been started sometime in 2022. I'm not exactly sure when. I'd have to go a deep dive back and see, but it was started in sometime in 2022. This was a long process, and I'll explain why this one is so long, even though it may not look like it. And that was finished by June 2023. And it's this one, which I'm sure you've seen in videos. It's made several appearances. It's beautiful pink 4-way stretch lace. Now, stretch lace is my favorite fabric for full skirts for costumes. So the purple satin one in the previous video, that one for the skirt has about 8 or 9 meters, so it's very full, and satin. And so when I use a stretch lace, because I don't want it to be super see-through, I have a lot of gathering, so I actually use probably closer to 10 meters. Very big wide panels for the skirt. It's got 6 panels total, so that you have a lot of gathering. As you can see, it's still quite opaque despite being what is technically a sheer fabric. This is one of my heaviest costumes and probably one of my favorites, and if you've been following me a long time, you may recognize the design, because pre-COVID and before my son, I had made this design for the first time in a different color, but I won't tell you because maybe you'll remember. I want to see if anybody remembers it. And I loved it so much despite how heavy it was. I was like, eventually I'm going to do another color. And then when I saw this pink lace, then I saw some pink beads, and it was all starting to come together. So I was like, pink will be next. So once again, I had most of the stuff for this from before I had my son. So I was pretty set up to get started. Of course, I had to get a couple of extra stuff just because the surface area changed in some regions. And some changes, subtle changes I want to make after the first one. And so yeah, I did name this one. This is Barbie. I feel like it's obvious, but it works, right? This is like classic Mattel pink Barbie. Give her a little spin for you. And one sec, I just have to get it out of my pocket because my dress has pockets. 2 armbands, simple. And I'll show you those more up close in another video. So bra, belt, skirt and belt are attached. I love my skirts and my belts attached. This, of course, reduces your versatility in terms of wearing the bra and belt with other skirts or with other things. But it's hand sewn on. You can take it off if you need to clean it or whatnot. One of the reasons I do this is if I feel like my costuming is not secure when I dance, or like it's going to shift, I feel like I can't dance my best. And when my belt is weighted and snug and secure and it has the weight of the skirt, and I know that if my skirt gets stepped on, especially if you're dancing in busier environments where that's always a possibility of it happening, that when they're attached, I don't have to worry about one pulling down, and that separation that happens, even when you pin it, it's never ideal, and it rides up. And it's a pet peeve of mine when I can see the belt and the skirt line separate, like when the skirt starts to ride up or the belt starts to slide down. It's always just irked me. So when I know they're sewn together securely, it gives me a lot more confidence when I'm dancing. I just feel better, and therefore I dance better. But it's quite heavy. And so this design is marked by these really large appliques. And I'll show you those up close. But there's 2 to the bra, there's 4 on the belt, and then it's just following sort of the pattern of the lace over the color lycra I use that I feel is closest to my skin tone, because it gives you a nice sort of neutral base. It's like a champagne goldy pale tone. And yeah, so that's this one. This one, I wish I'd tracked the hours, but I want to confidently say, because of the way I constructed it, probably 100 hours. And again, this is like little bits here and there. This started probably a year before it was finished, and like an hour here, an hour there at night, sometimes 3 hours at night if I was staying up late. Sometimes you get big chunks, sometimes you get little chunks, and you just keep plugging away at it. Some of my reasoning, I got a really good question about how long does a costume typically last. So I've been, diligent in that, and I think most dance costumes last for years if you take care of them and if they're well constructed. And they'll get passed on, and eventually, like, they will show signs of wear, but they're still very much wearable, and especially in certain environments, like darker, dimmer environments where someone's not like inspecting them. So let's do a close-up of her now. Here is Barbie. Here's a close-up of the little armbands. There's just two. Whoops. Not ideal. I'll pick that up and put it back in my pockets because my dress has pockets. So these appliques are actually done to be one whole unit. And so, yes, I didn't clean it up because I wanted to show signs of wear. So let's talk about the appliques first, and then we'll start breaking other stuff down. So this is actually one whole unit. So I make all the petals individually, and then I sew them together in this shape on a very thick, you can see the thick felt base there, my applique to that to make this shape. And my logic behind this was each of these petals is well constructed. The stones are all well protected from discoloration from your sweat. My logic for that is when I'm done with this design, these can pull off and be reused for something else. And the other one I've made of this in the other color that doesn't fit anymore, well, the bra doesn't fit. I could probably put some work into the belt and get it to fit again. But I have to redo the whole bra. But they could be combined in the future for a different costume. So my logic was doing it this way that they would last longer. You know, like the rhinestone banding here has no discoloration yet, neither do the stones. So that it could, you know, be repurposed later and in, you know, relatively good shape. And what you'll see here is I've lost some. So these are glass pearls and glass beads. These are actually glass Swarovski, because again, I had all this stuff from before COVID when you could get Swarovski much more easily. Now you can't, which is fine because I've found alternatives. But so that would need to be replaced. But that's, I don't know, it's like 15 minutes to put those on. What happens is the glass beads will really wear your thread. And I couldn't find a heavy duty thread in a pink, and it was really jarring to me to use a different color. So I was like doing multiple layers of like the thinner thread that here's, you can see a piece of it there. And it just struggles with the wear of the glass, kind of starts to take it apart. But you can see the stones are in pretty good shape. This one here is in good shape, no loss. And that makes sense because this is where it does up. So it gets highest friction of me touching it or moving it. You can see there's the hook there. So that's in pretty good shape. Skirt's in great shape. Whoops. Excuse you. Come here. But yeah, the crinoline, actually, it's amazing. I won't tell you how many shows this one's done yet because I don't know off the top of my head. And I want you to guess. But it should be a hint that it's been a favorite. Really? Well, Bups likes it too, so I think it's one of Bups' favorites. Let's take a peek at the bra, how it's doing. Oh, bead down. It's those bicones. The bicones tear your thread. None on this side, though. That's good news, I don't think. Some discoloration on a pearl there. The bright side of sewing your pearls is when that happens. Just Let's just roll it. Look at that. Problem solved. Beaded the straps, but so there's the back of it. So again, there's always the bicones that come off. Yeah, there. That would have been a bicone. Okay, that's a note. I see it now. I probably won't use that shape again. So this one, yeah, the side. I'm also right-handed, and I'll probably shove my veil more that side, so it just gets a bit more friction. So that's where the repairs are, and this one's you know, now however many years old, June 2023 to now. This is December. Whoops. Meow. He knows. It's lined with kitties. He knows. So there it is. I'm actually pretty delighted with the condition of this one, given the dance time it's had. It's very pretty in low light. It's got great sparkle. One of my heavier ones, though, I should weigh it and see. But I think this one actually might be my heaviest. These appliques themselves are very heavy. And you can kind of get an idea here oops, of the thickness. So my appliques are made with lightweight felt, buckram, and lightweight felt as a sandwich. And then it's sewn on this felt backing. Like that. There we go. What do you think, Bubs?